and I'm back, and I got a bunch of stuff to catch up to from the past 2 weeks. So I compiled everything DC, which honestly, it had a big piece of news today, but it's also have some interesting news from the past few weeks. So let's go through the whole thing. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW
Super Dario World.
So, back. This always annoys me. I'm doing it blind. or deaf. Well, I guess blind still counts. Anyway, doesn't really matter. But hopefully you guys been having a good day. I've been having a pretty good day. It's been kind of a pain in the butt a little bit, but I'm excited. I got a bunch of equipment delivered today that I'm excited for because it's a part of my next phase of the podcast. Right now we're technically in phase 2, but I decided to jump the gun on phase 3. I got excited last week and I saw an opportunity. I was like, I'm gonna jump on it. So you will probably be hearing about that in the next couple of weeks. There was already a mess up in my order, but we'll see if things work out. Hopefully things will work out, and hopefully you'll be a part of my journey as I continue in the next stage of my plan here and my development, and you'll see it grow and an aggressive expansion and all that stuff. But before we get into, let's get into the DC thing. But before we get into that, let me just give a quick reminder that any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also, follow me. I'm doing pretty much live streams pretty much every day of the week, Monday through Friday. You can find those on Twitch and on YouTube at Super Dario World. Also follow me on Facebook because I update everything there. Again, Super Dario World. All that stuff. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. Really helps out. I'm kind of out of it today. I guess I'm a little bit burnt out. I'm a little bit burnt out, but it's fine. Doesn't really matter. I'm gonna keep powering through. But let's get into the whole fun DC stuff. And the first, right out of the gate, it's official. We've kind of have now a new official release date for Wonder Woman 1984. So, as you know, the movie was supposed to come out earlier this year. It's been getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And so now it appears that it's been delayed 2 more months. So I'll read you the statement here from Toby Emmerich, what's the chairman of the Warner Brothers Motion Picture Group. So you know what the hell's going on. Patty is an accepted. She's talking about the director here. And wait, this isn't the wrong statement. See, again, out of it. Completely out of it. But the movie, it was supposed to come out in October. It looks like that's not going to be the case. Why? Because right now the box office is pretty much dominated by Tenet, but the numbers are not good. The numbers for Tenet are not good. People are not going to the theaters yet. And so the people from Tenet, they took a risk. It's not paying off. And so everybody's pretty much, you know what, let's just push it back a little bit more, because we want to make money. You know, it's all about money. And so they decided to push the movie back 2 months. So now it's set to hit theaters on December 25th, 2020. That's Christmas Day 2020, which is weird. I've never understood why movies get released on Christmas, but I mean, they do it every year. So I'm guessing there's groups of people that want to go to the movies. I mean, I guess it's the people who don't celebrate Christmas, but still, I would pick a different day because I think you'd get a better, you know. I mean, you know what? I was going to say you'd get a bigger opening, but if they keep doing it, it's for a reason. So I guess, you know, the market is fine. So there you go. If you care at all about Wonder Woman, the upcoming Wonder Woman movie, it'll come out, again, Christmas this year, December 25th, 2020. If that changes, I will let you know. Now, on a bit of sad news, it depends on where you stand on. It's been confirmed that the latest season of the CW show Supergirl will end. Well, so the next season will be the last season, meaning season 6 will be the final season for this show. It is not exactly clear why it'll be the final season for it, but if I have to guess, it's because the show sucks. It was the worst part of the Arrowverse until Batwoman was created and that show took the title. Now, that is an unfair thing for me to say. I know because I still haven't watched the show. It's not on Netflix yet, and At least I don't think it's on Netflix yet because I do new releases every week and it didn't pop up there. But I haven't seen it. I'm waiting for it to so I can binge watch the whole thing. But having to go through Supergirl every single, because what I do, I like going through all the CW shows, all the Arrowverse is connected, and so I like going through all everything from one particular show until the crossover episode, because the crossover episode is where everything's at. And so I go through Arrow first, and then I go through the Flash, and then I have to go through Supergirl, and it's always just a gigantic pain in the butt having to suffer through it. You have to suffer through it. The show had a lot of potential, and then it just went bonkers crazy and not in a good way. So, I mean, hopefully they find a way of closing it out with a bang. I like Melissa Benoit as Supergirl for the most part. I think she's done a good job. I like most of the cast for the most part. It's just the story's always been dumb, and they always give her like watered down Superman villains, and it's stupid. Like or like the cousin or sister of a Superman villain, which is stupid. It's like it's not. She can't just go out and fight Lex Luthor. No, she has to deal with Lex Luthor's sister. Or I don't know, Metallo's cousin. It's dumb. It's like actually a lot. And also, they've taken storylines from Superman that's really annoyed me. They took the storyline. Well, they didn't take it. They were inspired by the Red Sun storyline from Superman, which is my favorite Superman storyline, and they just completely butchered it. Like butchered it horribly. I said butchered it, but no, no. They completely butchered it, and so it's like, how about there's a lot of Supergirl material out there. How about if you use it? How about if you explore it? Supergirl is a very popular, very cool character with a lot of very interesting storylines. And also, you have unlimited potential with what you can do with her in original settings. So why not? They never really explored that, and it was annoying. And so now the show is pretty much dead. So what this means for the rest of the Arrowverse, I don't know. What this means for the rest of the CW's DC universe, I don't know, but this is the next domino to follow. Arrow is done. Arrow went out, I think, with a bang. It was still respectable. It started out, the first season of Arrow was one of my favorite seasons of any superhero show ever. Overall, I like Daredevil better, and now I'm loving The Boys. To me, The Boys right now is the best superhero show that's ever been made. Again, it's because it's rated R. Rated R is always going to win. But I love Daredevil. I'm really looking forward to see what WandaVision is going to be like. But so far, I think the one that has the crown is The Boys. Before that, it was Daredevil. And before that was the first season of Arrow. Afterwards, it kind of went downhill, but it came back up a little bit at the end. I believe, like I said, it went out respectively. This one, it looks like it's going to go down on a down note or out in a down note. We'll see. Honestly, we'll see. I wish them the best because, I'm a fan of the Arrowverse. I'm wearing a CW shirt right now. Like I enjoy those shows. Those are the shows that I keep like in the background. It's shows that I call them shows that I watch, but I don't have to pay attention to because I know either I know what's gonna happen or they're gonna repeat the same thing 100 times, so I'm never gonna miss anything. I love those shows. So because I can have them on in the background. But that's the big news for today. That's the big news from there. That's not the big news for today. There's a bunch of news that we still have to get to. Now, the next piece of news, it's been confirmed that a character from the Suicide Squad will get his own spin-off series on HBO Max. That character is none other than the Peacemaker. Peacemaker, who will be played by John Cena. So it's been confirmed that not only will John Cena reprise the role of Peacemaker, which is a character that he will be playing in the upcoming Suicide Squad, and which he describes as basically an asshole Captain America. It will also be produced and directed by none other than James Gunn. James Gunn, who is directing the Suicide Squad. James Gunn, who directed the Guardians of the Galaxy. So, it's going to... finally, hopefully we're going to get a bit of control here. We're going to have some sort of let's say... symmetry between the characters, some kind of order in the CW, well, not in CW, in the DC cinematic universe and TV shows. Hopefully HBO Max is doing all this with the Green Lantern TV show. But honestly, I like this news because again, I'm a big fan of James Gunn. I'm looking forward to the new Suicide Squad. It looks like he knows what he's doing. John Cena, I think he's a mediocre actor. He's okay. He's fine. It depends on the role. 100%. It makes me uncomfortable to watch him sometimes because he's just so big. It's really hard to watch sometimes. But whatever. He's funny. Like what's the movie where he's with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell? Daddy's Home. Yeah, that one's funny. So it's going to be an 8-episode straight to series action adventure comedy. And here's the kicker. Well, I don't know if it's really that big of a kicker. I mean, it's going to come out early 2021, but I know what you're thinking. This usually annoys me. Oh, man, if they're going to do like a spinoff series or something, now I know the character's going to survive the movie, and that's really annoying. No, this is a prequel series. It's a prequel of the Peacemaker, which is going to be a character that's going to be coming out of the Suicide Squad. Now, the Suicide Squad order, when it's going to be released, is supposedly going to be August 6, 2021. So, if this show is scheduled to begin production early 2021, I'm sorry, it's not going to be released early 2021. It might come out soon after the movie, so there will be no spoilers anywhere, I guess, which is a good thing. Unless you want to consider that the fact that Peacemaker is somehow going to survive his own origin series, which I guess it's a little bit of a stretch, but whatever. Point is, exciting stuff from DC there. Exciting stuff because Suicide Squad, I think, is going to be rated R. And so this show could be rated R as well, especially if it's HBO Max. And I'll just read you a little bit here of what James Gunn had to say of why he decided to do this character. Peacemaker is an opportunity to delve into current world issues through the lens of his supervillain, the world's biggest douchebag. I'm excited to expand the Suicide Squad and bring this character from the DC film universe to the full breadth of a series. And, of course, to be able to work again with John, Peter, and my friends Warner Brothers is the icing on the cake. So, interesting there is the possibility that he might do this with other characters. So, if things go well, we might be getting a lot of Suicide Squad a lot of places. So, and like I said, it all depends on how successful the movie is, which, again, to me, it's a good sign of what they expect that this movie is actually going to be good, that this movie is actually going to be successful if they're investing so much in it and they see the possibility of creating its own, TV universe. Because they could do an origin story of pretty much every single one of those characters, which could be fun. Well, I mean, yeah, I think it's fun. I'd enjoy it. I don't know if you'd enjoy it, but I'd enjoy it. I don't know if you'd enjoy it, but I enjoy it. Anyway, good stuff there from DC as well. Exciting stuff. Exciting indeed. Next, we have the big piece of news here. This is the one that's on the title, I believe. And that's that Spotify has announced that it has teamed up with a former Batman writer to create the very first scripted superhero podcast for DC. Now, this podcast will be titled Batman Unburied, and it's supposed to, according to Spotify, it will be released early 2021. Well, released 2021 because I don't believe the early part of anything anymore. But it will explore the dark aspects of Bruce Wayne's psychology. Here's the kicker, though, or here's the interesting part. It will be written or created by the co-writer of the Dark Knight trilogy, David S. Goyer. Again, if you know, the Dark Knight trilogy was created by Christopher Nolan. He had him and his brother had a lot to do in the writing, but David S. Goyer was the other guy who helped create the trilogy. The dude knows Batman, and the dude gave us a different version of Batman that we that we saw before, and it was great. I especially enjoyed the way he handled the villains, and so here's a statement from him that made things even more exciting for me. So, oh, by the way, that's that guy. Anyway. I've been a fan of narrative podcast for some time and was looking for the right story. Returning to Batman seems like the perfect opportunity. We'll also be using the unique advantages of audio to dig into the more nightmarish members of the Dark Knight's Rogues Gallery. So, for those of you who don't know, there's a bunch of characters in the Batman Rogues Gallery. A lot. Most of them are unknowns, but like he says, there's a lot of pretty terrifying ones, or nightmarish ones. So, if they're planning on dwelling into the psychology more aspect of it, I think it's going to be a first-person podcast, which means that it's going to be told by Batman in Batman's perspective. So we'll actually get to go into the mind of the world's greatest detective. We'll get to see how fucked up Bruce Wayne really is, which is something there's two things that are missing, I think, in the Batman universe. All right, two things that would make me very happy. One is actually going into how fucked up Bruce Wayne is psychologically. Because the things that dude has to go through, or the things that dude's gone through, are honestly the things that gods still suffer through. Like, this dude has to deal with actual fucking gods. This dude has to deal with the fact that Superman exists, and he has to be on par with him. All right, and the villains of Superman as well. Then he has Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter. He's dealing with being so far beyond him, and he still manages a way to be on par with them, and for them to follow his lead. And he has to do that pretty much all with his body that breaks way faster than their bodies does, and his mind. His mind has to be so fucking sharp, and this dude is so beyond paranoid because he has a plan for everything. Everything. There's a plan for his backup plan, for his backup plan, for his backup plan. And so that's why he's fun to watch. He's also, like I said, the world's greatest detective. And it'll be very interesting to actually go into Batman's mind. Now, the other thing that I would really like to see explored in the Batman universe that hasn't been done enough, and I don't know why they haven't done this yet, would be his relationship with Wonder Woman. Now, I know what you're thinking. What are you talking about? Batman and Wonder Woman? That makes no sense. There is precedent for this, all right? And there's pretty big precedent for it. And it is one of the things that actually I found interesting in the new Justice League in the Justice League movie, that they kind of hint at a bit of chemistry there. Batman and Wonder Woman are a super interesting relationship because they've hinted at that relationship for a lot of different the DC universe, because there's a bunch of DC universes. There's a big multiverse out there. They've tried to bring everything together and stuff. And the place that they've hinted at that the most is actually in the Justice League animated TV show, which is great. I highly recommend it. I think it's in HBO Max right now. I highly recommend it. That's the one where they get closest to actually making something happen, which would be fascinating. Honestly, you know how sometimes certain characters make sense together, even though they on paper they don't make sense, but the chemistry that they have makes sense. That's how I feel about those two. I feel like it would be a fascinating thing to explore. I even read a comic book once where Wonder Woman goes into like a dream machine so that she could explore what her relationship with Bruce Wayne would look like, and she gets a bunch of options, like Batman making her go to the dark side, Wonder Woman bringing Batman into the light side. It's fascinating stuff. So the potential there is great. They haven't explored it yet. I have no idea why. Honestly, like, the closest thing we got was Justice League, but we need, again, the animated TV show, and they decided, we're too good friends, we can't do this, but they should. They definitely should. It's a wasted potential. It's one of those things where you're like, like, I know the show's about Dawson and Joey, but Pacey and Joey make way more sense. That's how I feel about this. They're the better couple. They make more sense, and at least it would be more interesting to see on screen, like a regular, like an apex human being dealing with a literal goddess. But anyway, I went off on a tangent. I have no idea how I got there. But yeah, this podcast sounds exciting. I like the Rogues Gallery. I like Batman. I like David S. Goyer as a writer. So it has a lot of potential. Honestly, Spotify has been making a lot of pretty big strides in the podcasting world. Right now, they're in the middle of a bit of a drama. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there's a little bit of a drama going on with the Joe Rogan podcast. Like, some employees are threatening to boycott or to walk out from Spotify because they want to edit or censor out the Joe Rogan podcast, which I think is the dumbest idea ever. But whatever, it's it's their problem. On this aspect, on the scripted side at least, sounds like they're doing okay. We'll see. They might completely fuck up the story. We'll see. I'm just hoping that they do well here. I really want to get inside Bruce Wayne's brain, and if they can throw a little Wonder Woman thing there, I would enjoy it. I'm just saying, I would enjoy it. I hope you would enjoy it. I would enjoy it. If not, I guess we'll save it for my next fan fiction. Anyway, moving on to the next piece of news. Still sticking kind of with the Justice League. For those of you, if you haven't heard me talk about this, I don't know what. You're probably new to my podcast, but I've been talking about this for a while. The Snyder Cut has been announced. It'll come out in 2021 for HBO Max. I'm very excited about it. And we just got a little bit of piece of news that came out of it. Apparently, Zack Snyder will be filming new footage next month, which is October. And apparently everybody's coming back. Well, not everybody's coming back. I believe it's confirmed that Henry Cavill won't be coming back, but we got Ben Affleck for sure. We got Gal Gadot and Ray Fisher. So, What they're gonna be reshooting, I don't know. But this is actually good. Honestly, I was a little bit concerned at first when they said, okay, we're gonna make this like a 4-part TV show and all that stuff. And to me, it was okay. It's okay. I'm good. I'm excited about it. But how much material did you actually have to work with? Are you going to have to like ram stuff, like really force stuff to make it fit? You know, like you're gonna cut up a piece to way beyond recognition to make it fit. You know, kind of like they did in the last Star Wars movie where they really tried to shoehorn in a Leia scene, which would suck. Honestly, I think this is better. Just you got the budget for it, just go out and shoot. The actors are apparently excited for this because it'll give them a chance to clean up their name and to actually help with the rebuilding of DC. I'm excited what DC's doing. Honestly, I'm more excited with what DC's doing right now than what Marvel's doing, because I can see the potential with DC. With Marvel, I don't see it yet. But again, it's because the next phase the next saga hasn't really started yet. So until the next saga starts, then I might start getting a little bit more excited for everything. But right now, I can see what they're gonna do here, and so I'm excited for that. So there you go. We will get new original material for that movie or miniseries, which is exciting stuff. Moving on to sort of kind of related news, and we're sticking with the Justice League. It's been it's not 100% confirmed, but it's been speculated that the upcoming Flash movie will start shooting on March of 2021, which is good because this movie's been in production hell for years. Like, they've been wanting to make this movie since 2014. So it looks like they finally got all their ducks in a row, and it looks like it's finally going to be coming to the big screen, or at least they're going to start shooting it in 2021, March 2021. And apparently the cameos are going to be out of this world. Like, it's been confirmed that Michael Keaton's coming back. It's been confirmed that Ben Affleck's coming back. Ray Fisher wants to make a cameo. And from what I'll just read you a statement here from Barbara Muschietti, who is one of the producers of the movie. I'll read you the quote, because here's the plan that they have for the Flash movie, which I think is pretty smart. But here you go. Let me just switch that up there. And again, here's the quote from one of the producers of the movie. Well, I want you to go see it, so I'm not going to tell you a lot. But what I will tell you is that it's a ride. It's going to be fun and exciting, and there are a lot of DC characters in it. Flash is the superhero of this film because he's the bridge between all of these characters and timelines, and in a way, it restarts everything and doesn't forget anything. So, interesting stuff there. Now, you know how a few podcasts ago I talked about the Multiverse of Madness for the Doctor Strange movie and all that stuff. And you know how I said that DC and Marvel kind of been feeding each other for years and all that stuff? Similar stuff here. I think that it's smart to use. It's been highly speculated that this movie, the Flash movie, will be based off of the storyline Flashpoint Paradox. Now, Flashpoint is actually my favorite animated DC movie, and it's my favorite Flash storyline. Even though it deals a little bit with a topic that I don't particularly like, which I will save for later. I won't do any spoilers for anybody, but it's a fun movie. It's an exciting story, and it's a very dark story, and that's why I kind of like it. It's really brutal, so that's why I like it. And if this particular storyline is based off of Flashpoint, it is easy to see why it could actually work as a reboot for the whole DC universe, which it needs it. The DC universe needs a massive, massive fixing. And it's actually something similar that they did to Crisis on Infinite Earths. When on the CW network, they kind of used that to fix all this stuff. Here, it could work as well for them to finally get their shit together. Now, how vast this will be? Will it actually include the Suicide Squad? Would it actually include, I don't know, the Joker? Will it actually include the new Batman? Will it actually include all that stuff? I have no idea. But I can see it having the potential to fix it, or at least to fix some of the more, let's say, annoying aspects of it, and that's that none of these things make any sense together. And now, and the issues that all these movies were made independently, and there was no supervising force. Now with HBO Max taking pretty much control of DC in a way, now it looks like they're trying to keep every single thing in order, make everything come together. It looks like it looks like it finally has the potential to make sense, and it looks like it's finally like DC's finally getting their shit together, which is about fucking time. It only took them like 20 years, but it's a let's just say it's a move in the right direction. Hopefully, it all depends on how well it's done. But finally, we may actually have a centered DC cinematic universe, and hopefully the Justice League miniseries will be the first part of it, and or at least it'll set up the board for it, and then and the new Flash movie will be the one that takes it over the edge, and then things will start making sense, or at least they'll be like, you know what, fuck it, we're keeping everything separate. I wouldn't mind that either. But I think Wonder Woman was way too successful for it. I think Aquaman was too successful. I think Shazam was actually a really great movie, and I've enjoyed the Zack Snyder movies. I enjoyed Batman v Superman, the extended cut, the rated R edition. Watch it. I highly recommend it. So I also hear the Doom Squad's great. It's on HBO Max. I haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to it. I will watch it eventually. It's been recommended by a lot of people. I'm looking forward to the Green Lantern TV show. I'm looking forward to Suicide Squad. We'll pretend like Harley Quinn Birds of Prey did not happen. And by the way, if you if you want to see my summary of of everything that's basically wrong with Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, I actually break down the movie and break down all the things that don't make sense. If you want to see it, that thing's up on my Facebook channel. I believe it's Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, a summary. So you can enjoy that. But like I said, at least the DCC universe, it looks exciting, honestly. Finally, I've always been a little bit more of a DC guy because my favorite superhero is Batman and my favorite supervillain is the Joker. I find them more exciting. So, I hope that this is the light of the end of the tunnel. I'm really, really hoping it's the light of the end of the tunnel. I could be wrong. I've been let down before. I've been let down horribly by the DC Cinematic Universe. But, hope springs eternal. It's honestly, if even if the movies suck, whatever. Like, at least they're making an effort. You gotta be positive, right? You gotta think positive. So positive thoughts. Hopefully, again, finally, they'll get the shit together. But we'll see. Again, fingers crossed. And I think that's it. That's it for today. That's all. Yeah, that's all the news that I had. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also, live streaming pretty much every day, Monday through Friday. Hours vary, depends on the day. I like to aim it a little bit earlier, but today I was excited. I was playing with new stuff. All right, I was playing with new equipment. What do you want me to tell you? I got excited for it. But Monday through Friday at Super Dario World on Twitch, at Super Dario World on YouTube, and subscribe, like there. It really helps me out. I appreciate it. As always, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.